Here's a little bit on AoE abilities. I have very limited AoE as a Sage healer. I have Forcequake, which is an AoE attack. I don't think it's going to completely cover these three enemies. See these white maul guys to my left? I'm going to taunt them for this daily, and they're going to attack me. They're not going to attack my companion because I'm immediately pulling threat. So I'm going to send my companion at the one closest to me, and I'm going to use AoE on the two guys further away. I may have to use it 2 times. It's not a really strong ability. But this is definitely a case to use AoE when you have multiple enemies. Using AoE on single targets is not really good, but let me do this before someone else kills these. I'm going to put Force Armor on my companion and myself, and I'm going to buff my armor a little bit since I have light armor. I'm going to target him.
You're dead meat!
There. And I'm going to clean the poisons off myself. I can only take 2 stacks off. I still got 1 stack of poison. Anyway, now it's very fast, so it's hard to really know what the hell is going on. But my AoE attack is called Forcequake. A lot of people will use that on a single target. It really doesn't pay to do that. The damage is spread out. The advantage to these attacks are that it hits multiple enemies, not one. But consequently, it does less damage to single targets in the process. So it's kind of a waste of resources to use that on a single target. And I just wanted to show you a little strategy there of getting my companion to attack immediately one of the enemies that I thought could end up being out of range of my AoE. And I did have to use my AoE 2 times because the 2 guys were still dead. They weren't dead yet after I had used my AoE 1 time. Some people are criticized by blowhards for, oh, they spam their AoE. Well, if you have multiple enemies and they're still up, it may call for another AoE attack. So I don't see anything wrong with it. I do think it's kind of wrong if you just use your AoE attacks. It's not efficient, it doesn't work really well, and it doesn't teach you your other skills. But there's times when you can use an AoE attack twice in a row, and it's perfectly legitimate. So I'll probably go over some other AoE skills and attacks. The Sage healer doesn't have any, so that's all that I can show you on this. Same thing for the Sorcerer healer. And again, this was a DPS companion, and she was not going to steal threat from me, and didn't. I don't know if you noticed, but I got all the damage put on me, which I cleaned off. I think with a cleanse, which I used on myself. I could only take off 2 stacks of the poison that were on me. Anyway, that's all for this. If there's any other little things I come up with, I will make a video on that as well.